If you are not ready to work, hustle, kill, then please leave.
Come on, here we go!
Come on. Oh yeah, one more, please. Yup.
All right. Welcome to the Savage Excellence Podcast. I am your host, Tristan Nelson, here with my co-host, Will Hardy. Be advised, this podcast is not for everyone. It is for hardcore bodybuilders and success-driven individuals. Our mission is to build a community of savages who are relentlessly pursuing personal excellence. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, Will. How's it going, brother?
Pretty good, bro.
Dude, this is fucking exciting. First episode of the Savage Excellence Podcast. I never honestly saw myself having a podcast, so dude, I'm like a little kid in a candy shop right now.
Yeah, it's fun. I honestly was like, I always was thrown off the idea of like a podcast too. It's just like you see all these other creators, you're like, damn, like they've already got a huge following.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah, dude. Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, am I really someone who can like have a podcast?
Right.
Like, someone going to listen to me for like 30 minutes or an hour? You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like, we talk about cool shit, and it's really just a conversation between both of us. We're both amateur bodybuilders.
Mm-hmm.
I aim to just give like 100% transparency on this. I don't want to be someone I'm not, and just provide as much value as possible to those that are maybe in a position where they're just trying to get to the position that like we're in. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, without further ado, in this podcast, I first want to kind of just talk about how we got to the positions that we're in. So where we kind of like started, what kind of trials and tribulations we've gone through to get here, and what we're doing currently and struggling with currently to continue pursuing our own excellence.
Right.
So in my journey of becoming a bodybuilder, I kind of go, I'm going to be going way, way back.
All right.
Straight out the womb. No, I'm just kidding. So I would say personal fitness in general for me started back in elementary school. I unfortunately got bullied a fuck ton in elementary school, like every single day, to the point where I'd like cry daily. I got really into video games at first. Like I'd be playing like 3-4 hours a day. Just
What's your favorite video game?
Oh, bro. Skyrim. Skyrim and Assassin's Creed and Minecraft. All those three, for sure.
Yeah.
But I just kind of did it just to escape my reality, which kind of sucked.
Yeah.
I hated every single day of my life, really. But that was like my initial escape. But then thankfully, my older brother, he got into fitness himself.
Yeah.
And I saw how much it did for him, and he kind of like got jacked, and I was just like, damn, my brother looks crazy. You know what I mean? And like back when I was younger, he had like a girlfriend and stuff, and I was like, dude, he's just slaying it. I really looked up to him. He was kind of my father figure. I didn't grow up with a dad. He was kind of out of the picture by the time I was 4. So that was kind of something like he played for me. So I like really looked up to him in that regard. And he taught me a lot of the basics about just lifting in general. Like he'd give me like a PCP pipe and teach me how to squat. You know what I mean? But as he kind of introduced me into fitness, because of how much I was like helping him and teaching me the basics, I kind of started to fall in love with it. Like I was always like an athletic kid. Like I was always wanting to like race people on the recess, on the gravel and shit.
Yeah, the school races.
Yeah, super competitive.
Yep.
But I didn't have any confidence in myself. I was super insecure, and like I said, just got bullied a lot for that reason. And I was super weak, pretty skinny, so I was just an easy target. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm honestly really thankful I got bullied a lot, because it gave me the thick skin I needed and the drive to be like, you know what, I'm fucking sick of this. People pushing me around, like, I'm going to take the initiative to become strong so that I can't be pushed around anymore.
Yep.
So as he kind of taught me the basics and stuff like that, I have this like image in my head that lives with me rent free, where we went out to his garage one day, and he had like an old Olympic bench in his garage. Yeah. Like typical, like we threw up the garage door. Yep. There's like a dirt bike he's working on in there, and just like grungy, and threw on some music, and we just went for like a 1 rep max bench PR.
Yeah.
Bro, I hit like 80 pounds, and I was like fucking king of the world.
That's awesome.
But from that moment on, I just got like obsessed with it. I thought it was so sick.
How old were you at this point?
Oh man, probably like 12, 12, 13, something like that. I'd been always, like I said, in athletics and stuff like that. So it's not like I had never picked up a dumbbell, but like going into like an actual lifting environment, you know what I mean? That was kind of a first. And once he like showed me that, I was like, damn, this is sick. And I remember my mom had a bench in her basement that was like super fucking janky. Like probably not even a foot wide. The plates that went on it were concrete filled, and they were like, half of them were cracked open, like leaking out. And bro, I was like in the basement training like Batman, ready to beat up Superman, dude. Like, it was those are some of my favorite lifts, honestly. But that's how I kind of got into fitness, and then just got obsessed with it, dude. By the time I got to 5th grade, I got so into fitness that I was literally swimming like half a mile, running 3 miles, and lifting weights for about an hour every single day that summer.
Dude, that's wild.
I got so into it.
Yeah.
And from there on, I mean, I just kept lifting more and more in middle school, into high school. Those were some of my favorite lifts, bro. Like with the boys after football practice, high test room as fuck. You know, even just reeked of testosterone there. But that's what's like, what really fired me up. And then I eventually kind of got watching other bodybuilders on YouTube. I really watched like Steve Cook at first. Okay. And just seeing that look, I was like, damn, I didn't even know people could fucking look like that. Right. You know what I mean? I'm like, I want to look like that. Yeah. Look like fucking superheroes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when I decided, I kind of did more research on bodybuilding, and it said like the youngest you could do a show was 16. And I'm like, I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah.
At 16. Yeah. So we moved here to La Crosse, Wisconsin when I was 16, and I decided to do a bodybuilding show. I talked to one of the trainers at the gym we go to here, and she kind of helped me just like for free, just gave me basic tips. Like I said, I was skinny as fuck. Yeah. So I like bulked into that show. Yeah. And dude, with that process, just like that, if you've ever prepped, you know what it's like to have that like tunnel vision of being in prep. I know you haven't quite experienced that yet. I'm excited for you too. Yeah. But you just feel like you enter this like cocoon of growth, because you just go through hard shit every single day with a deadline of like, you have to show up at 100% or else you're gonna, you know, like I perceived it as like, I'm gonna be a failure if I don't. Right. You know what I mean? So after that day, like I actually got on stage and competed. Man, it was just like nothing better. It was pure ecstasy. And from that moment on, I'm just like, this is what I'm doing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's pretty dope.
How about you, bro?
Dude, I mean, it started, let's go back in the thoughts here. But no, I think honestly, it kind of started like, I was telling my buddy yesterday, like, you know, I remember like 7th grade, like, I didn't start lifting like seriously until like, you know, later in high school. But in 7th grade, I remember like, we were in middle school and we were allowed to go into the fitness center. And so we had like a class for gym, like Phi Ed for like the fitness center there. And I remember just like, we ran around, it was like a couple, me and my buddies, and we like just went to the bench straight away because we're like, we saw the, you know, we knew what a bench was. Like we wanted to just like see how much we could do. And like I hit like 115 off the bat. And I just remember like, that was like right away, it was like, damn, like this is fun. And we did some like deadlifting and stuff like that. Keep in mind, like, we had like horrible form, but like, but yeah, then like it just was like it kind of started like a little spark, and then it was like I didn't really touch any more weights like after that point for a while because I was just, you know, busy being a 7th grader, like hanging around with friends and playing football at the school parking lot, you know, and things like that. But then like fitness has always been a part of my life because I've been in sports. I was bullied a little bit in like elementary and middle school, and it definitely like kind of was like a little bit of a motivating factor on the back end for me. But also like for sports, like it was like that was the big thing for me was like lifting for sports, because like my dad, I remember when I was in 8th grade, like there was an opportunity for me to like go in the varsity, like get on varsity for like the ski team, and that was like my life back then. Like it was just skiing. Like I skied competitively for 10 years, like and like straight up. So it was like my life. And I remember like it was 8th grade, like it gave me a chance to do a couple of varsity races, but it's like I have to be, you know, waking up at 6 a.m., going straight to the high school to lift weights. And I was just like, oh, I don't know if I want to. My dad like kind of kicked my ass about it. He's just like, you gotta get yourself in gear, bro. Like if you wanna be able to like do well in in varsity and actually make the varsity team, like I'm not gonna help you on this. It's just you have to do this yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I woke up, at 6 a.m. the next week and made it to 2 or 3 of the weight rooms, and I was like, all right, this is kind of fun, like just messing around, and we got a program, and it was mainly just like core that we were focused on, but. Once I kind of started like getting more into like, all right, like I'm hitting a PR here and there, and I'm hitting more like PRs, it was like, this is kind of like I like doing this, and so I started doing a little bit more on my own. And when COVID happened, like we were all locked down, right? Like my dad bought me a pair of like dumbbells that we could both use during COVID because it was during my baseball season too. So it was like I needed to train for baseball, but obviously that didn't happen because of COVID. But then. So yeah, long story short, like in COVID, like I was just, doing the basic, just dumbbell curls and chest press, all the fun stuff like the gym bro like starts off with, and I just remember like that was so much fun. Like that era just by itself was like just blasting music in the laundry room, going on a treadmill, doing wind sprints, and then going doing a set of bicep curls, and then getting a protein shake afterwards, and then. I remember like when I got into high school was like when I started getting serious about lifting. It was just like, all right, like this is all my own, and so I started driving myself to lifts and started getting a lot more into like, I went to the YMCA and we just got really big into powerlifting for a while, and then I was just like, all right, I just want to be big as fuck. And I remember like so during that time, like it was when I was like 16 years old, but it was right after the ski season, and I cut from like 170 to like 145 maybe. But I was already lean, so it was just like not worth it. And so I just looked like a string bean. I was looking back at some photos like last night, and I was like, damn, bro. Like, I used to think I was big.
Massive, bro. I was
like, fuck, dude. And I remember like I got a job that summer just detailing cars at like Dahl in Winona, and I also like I met like one of my coworkers there. What really got me into like the idea of bulking. He's like you ever bulk before? I was like, bulking, what's that? He's like, let me show you, bro. And like he's just like pulling all this stuff. I was like, wait, carbs? Like aren't carbs bad for you? And like he's just like, no, bro. Like they make you grow. And I was like, all right, fuck it. And then I add like 50
2 pounds of rice.
Yeah, straight up, bro. Like I was eating these huge ass meals. I added 50 pounds in like 10 months. Granted, it was probably a lot of water weight and like newbie gains and then like insulin sensitivity, but like it was just so much fun. Like that whole bulk was just so much fun. It was just being able to go from like 140 to like 195. Like it was so much fun.
That's always like the best part when you get into like an actual like structured or just more structure in general lifting, and you just see like a shit ton of progress like in those first like few months especially, and you just blow the fuck up. Yeah, dude, I remember like the first time I actually touched a dumbbell back when I was like probably like 12, and I had just done a like CD workout with my mom. You know what I mean? Like we laid out mats and stuff. I was super thankful and grateful that my mom, she used to be a very big athlete.
Really?
Back in college, like bro, she was a beast. Dude, I shit you not. Some of the shit she's like told me that she did, I'm just like her work ethic just like makes mine look pathetic. It's just crazy. That's
crazy coming from you, bro.
Dude, like
when I met you, like it was like you took me through a back work. I was like, what the fuck? This guy just keeps going. I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, she embodies the savage excellence mentality better than anyone I know. She raised 5 of us, pretty much as a single mom.
Damn.
She was divorced multiple times, but she pretty much did all of the actual parenting. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And the relationships, but
like that's hardcore, bro.
Well, not even that. Not only did she raise like all of us single, but she was a full-time nurse, and she had a farm with cattle. And one of the kids had dyslexia. Another one of my brothers has Asperger's, so she's helping deal with that too.
Yeah.
And at the same time, doing all of that, she's still like prioritizing her fitness.
That's awesome.
Just an animal, bro.
Yeah.
Like back in college, she'd tell me, I might butcher this, but these are just rough numbers here. She would literally bike like up like mountains, she would tell me, not like straight up vertically like a mountain obviously, but like within like a path up mountains, and like I want to say she was like going like 20-30 miles, something like that, like every morning, just to practice. She was in 3 sports at once in college.
What the fuck?
Just an animal. And she was a huge swimmer. Just phenomenal. She'd beat men in their own categories. That's wild.
That's wild, dude.
Her coach told her that she had like Olympic potential, but she was in that older era where her parents honestly just kind of suck and made her stay at the farm to work and not chase that goal, which is really sucks. But I was in competitive swimming for a while, and she was my coach, which was kind of cool, like to have your mom pushing you, you know?
Pushing you, yeah.
But to kind of circle back, like when we would do, like just growing up, she was always like a great example of, like every night I'd see her stretch or like do planks or whatever, even if she wasn't, you know, going like balls to wall and like back squat or something. Like she's still prioritizing her fitness. She still ate healthy. She still pushed us to eat healthy.
Yeah.
And I think that's such like a big thing a lot of parents lack nowadays is just leading their kids by example, even if it's not to like a super high degree, like just to some degree, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
But like the first CD workout we did, we were using like maybe like 12-pound dumbbells. But I remember after like that 30-minute session, I got like a pump for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, look at me. My biceps are bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that was what was really the first catalyst to like, this is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like, I just have to go work out. I feel great after, and I get bigger after.
Yeah.
That's when I got really obsessed with that, for sure. What do you think were some of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome so far in your bodybuilding journey to get where you are?
You know, I'm gonna start off with like a banger, bro, because like this one, like I was thinking about this today, because every once in a while I'll bring it up, but like when I quit skiing, so like that was a big one for me, because I remember like it was actually like it was kind of a hard point, because it was like that same summer where I'm trying to think, was it junior? Yeah, it was junior. So yeah, the summer after my sophomore year, like I raced, you know, varsity my whole sophomore year and freshman year, but like sophomore year was like the year I was supposed to like go to state, and it was like that. Like if you didn't really go to state like by that time, like competitively skiing, like Nordic skiing is like one of the most competitive sports, I swear. Like, and it's so dumb because it's like it's not a popular sport, so it shouldn't be that competitive. But it's like it's
super niche.
It's very niche, and so it's so competitive, and it's like if you're not, and like and that's coming from someone who's literally started skiing when I was 4 years old, right? Like if you don't start skiing until, well, I shouldn't say that, because I know a lot of people who kind of picked up skiing. I think a lot of it also is endurance, and I kind of started to realize like, okay, like, you know, I gained 50 pounds, I'm not the same weight as I was, and it was like in the back of my mind I always knew like I had a little bit more muscle mass on my body than like endurance. Like I was a little bit better at like building muscle than I was at like being an endurance athlete.
Yeah.
Just because like my body frame, like right, like I wasn't like an ectomorph, right? Like, right, because ectomorph is
Skinnier.
Yeah. So like I was always kind of just a little bit like thicker, not like a
Dumb thick.
not like a
with two C's and
endomorph.
two
Yeah, exactly. Not an endomorph, but
Mesomorph?
Yeah, mesomorph, which is more in the middle, where it's like I was holding a little bit more muscle in my legs, which was good for sprinting. And so I did sprints, but then I just kind of like, after I didn't make state that year, it was just like a huge letdown. I was like, I kind of did some reflection, realization. I was just like, you know, I'm really starting to get like more involved with the gym, and I remember having a talk with my coach. I still remember like the back of my mind, like the same exact conversation we had. It was just like, he's like, you're really gonna give up all this just to go pursue your dreams, or to like pursue this like bodybuilding thing? Like, what if it doesn't work out for you, and then now you waste all this time?
Yeah.
And it was just like he was just trying to like, he was kind of feeling like a lot of the doubts in my mind, and it was just like, I know he was probably trying to be a good coach, but it was just like at the time, like it just seemed so like negative to me, because it's like, what if I can?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's like that's been a huge driver for me kind of in the back end, is like, because that was the only thing I really like truly was like locked into like at my childhood, was like, that was all skiing. Like it was skiing, and then like mountain biking was fun, but it was not as, you know, big as I was into skiing. It was just like, that was the only thing I was locked into, and to have that like be taken away from me, and then also like try to take away like the oh, you probably won't make it in bodybuilding too, is just like a huge motivator for me to like get over. And That's just been a thing, like, where it's just been, like, that struggle, I think, is what caused me to get to this point in bodybuilding so far. So that's definitely one of my bigger ones. What about you?
Man, I think, honestly, the biggest thing I've had to overcome to get where I am is myself. Because, like I said, I was a super insecure kid. And to try to overcome, like you said, the doubts within your own head, to give yourself to make the decision of, I am capable of this and I believe in myself to accomplish this.
Yeah.
And then also, like you said, man, I've had a lot of people in my life just doubt me constantly.
Yeah.
I remember one of my high school PE teachers, I was like getting into the idea of bodybuilding actually before I moved here. I'd already been lifting for a little bit, but I was still pretty skinny. And I brought up the idea to him that I wanted to be a bodybuilder. And bro, he literally fucking laughed in my face.
Really?
And he said,
You straight up?
like straight up laughed in my face. Like he was like, that's fucking like hilarious. To be honest, I almost don't blame him because I was skinny as fuck. You know what I mean? But again, it's like, it just blows my mind how many teachers, like their job is to believe in their students and they do the opposite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
School counselors, you try to bring up something to them, they're like, well, let's take this safe route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm glad he laughed in my face because that has fueled my fire multiple times. I think about that reaction many times in like top sets, stuff like that. I'd say again too, just like with the bullying too, and then I had a pretty rough breakup my junior year going into my senior year. That really fucked me up. I've always dealt like with anxiety and overthinking, and I just had a lot of that in that relationship. There was distance and stuff involved, and bro, by the end of it, I was having like 2 to 3 panic attacks like every week.
Really?
Constant anxiety.
Damn.
And so much to the point where I got to kind of like a suicidal thoughts point, and I was locked up in a hospital for about a week, so I wouldn't do anything in an adolescent unit. And I had a lot of time like to reflect in there, and I had lost like probably close to 20 pounds. Like for like 2 weeks, all I was living on was some gulps of water and like a handful of candy. Like I just could not stomach anything because I just felt like so broken. I thought I was going to marry her, and it just fell apart in a train wreck.
Yeah. That's just hard, bro.
Yeah, and she like ghosted me. Like I didn't even know if we were broken up for like over a week.
Oh, you know that's the worst, dude.
I'm like, what the fuck is happening, bro?
Yeah, that's not ideal at all.
Yeah, and but that's kind of like when I came out of that unit, which I'm so thankful I went into and didn't try to just like deal with it on my own. Well, I did on my own, but like I had a supportive environment to get through it.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing because I know you touched on like the parents stuff going like, and like especially like nowadays with like it's so easy as a parent to just like, all right, here's a tablet.
I'm
gonna go
100%.
do my own thing, and it's just like.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm very thankful my mom has been through her fair share of shit. Once again, she's been through way more than I have. Yeah. And she was willing to like put me in there. And God bless her heart, I came out of there and she bought me like a new mattress, just something nice to come home to that's awesome. Fresh and comfortable. She's like the best mom ever. Yeah. But that was kind of the dope thing too that I'm super grateful for is you got to look at all of these things as positives. You know what I mean? Like, what can I get out of this? Yep. So I kind of used that energy towards the gym once I got out. And bro, you want to talk about a villain arc? I shit you not, bro. I went from my deadlift PR being like 315 for like a struggling 6 to coming out of that place, I fucking shit you not, to repping that shit for 20 reps. Like I went in there, hood up, blasting crazy, metal rock, and just fucking obliterated myself. Yeah,
I can imagine it too. Like, yeah, that'd be wild.
Yeah, that was but it's like, you just got to use it for your fire. And that's where it's like the gym, I truly feel like saved my life. And like you hear that from a lot of people. Yeah. Because it is that place. It's always going to be there for you to use whatever energy, positive or negative, for growth and personal development. And I think that's like a really big beauty of the gym to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. I agree. Because when it comes to like so many different areas of life, like
I think the gym like taught me really how to like reflect, because it's just like, okay, I started reflecting my workouts, and I started reflecting on like a bunch of other stuff too, and just being able to have that ability to reflect on things, it teaches you so much. Because like, I mean, there's countless times where like I'll be in a workout, and like I'll have these doubtful thoughts, and then I'll look back at like after the workout's done, and it's just like, damn, bro, like if I just were to change my mentality this next one, and then the next workout's like so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But just being able to like, but then like doing that in and out of the gym, like the gym has just taught me so much, bro. Like you can, when it comes to like building starting your personal development journey, right? Like that's a big one for me, is just like getting some sort of fitness in, because it's just gonna raise those hormones that make you feel better, right?
Yeah, right.
And antidepressant hormones in your body that can be released. That's a big one for sure.
Yeah, dude. I mean, one of the biggest mindsets I've adopted over my bodybuilding journey is abundance over lack, and it's something a lot of people need to incorporate more.
So what exactly is like abundance over lack?
Abundance is acknowledging and realizing all of the blessings, opportunities, and things to be grateful for that are currently present in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Lack is having a victim mindset, thinking everything, you're only aware of what you don't have.
Yeah.
Thinking that like life is out to get you. You're the victim.
Yeah.
But if you have an abundance mindset, there's truly nothing that could keep you in a negative mind state.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to look at this in what kind of lesson do I need to learn from this? Or what does God want me to learn from this?
Yeah.
How is he using this to make me a better man or bodybuilder? Or
There's countless times I've said that phrase to myself.
yeah. Things, and it can be like the worst things. Like if you get, I don't know, you get cancer, or you break a limb, or things that people would just like be debilitated by. You know what I mean? You can look at this as like, okay, take a step back. What is going to be positive from this? Well, this is going to suck to go through, but it's going to make me appreciate life even more once I get through this.
Right.
Maybe it's going to help me get my mentality to where I need to be once I overcome this, to overcome even harder things.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would honestly like argue the same thing with like when it comes to, failures, right? Like so many people like hate failing and have this perfectionist mindset. Actually, speaking of, I was listening to that, a guided reading this morning during my cardio session that talked about the perfectionist mentality. It's just like, because of those perfectionist mindsets, and like not having the idea like you can't fail, like, right? By having that always in your system, and when you do fail, it like makes the failure so much worse. But like be able to take a step back and like realize like, okay, what am I learning from this failure? Because that's what's going to truly make you grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people just need to take more time to reflect on that kind of stuff, because like that's the human experience, right? Like you grow from your failures. I think if everyone was perfect and didn't fail, like why would we?
Yeah.
What would be the point of even?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's because people look at failing as failing. They don't look at it as opportunities to grow from.
Yeah.
And learn from.
Yep.
And that's something I really had to learn too. Like as a younger bodybuilder, is like if I did a show and didn't get first place, I'd be like, I'm fucking useless. I'm worthless. I can't, like, maybe this just isn't for me. You know, like you get in your head.
Yeah.
I feel like so many people look at bodybuilders that actually like have like good physiques, or like they've been in a while, or like you're at the level like where you're a bodybuilding coach, and they think that like life is just fucking perfect for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but they don't realize how much shit we've had to go through to get to this position, and how much shit we still go through. You know what I mean? Like I still get in my head sometimes. Probably like more than you would probably think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of times I wake up and don't want to do the shit I have to do. But once I do it, then it's fucking done. And I have more confidence in myself as an athlete to silence those thoughts, because I know I am putting in the work.
Right.
So if I have receipts to show me that I'm putting in the work, then there's nothing to be anxious about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then it's just a matter of time. However, if you are skipping those variables and you are having anxiety, then, I mean, it's going to, like you're just gonna have the anxiety from because you're not putting in the fucking work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Let's go back a little bit more back into like our stories. What was like you think so far? What do you think has been the highest moment of your bodybuilding journey? Like just a peak.
Peak bodybuilding experience.
I know you mentioned your first show.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, honestly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
What's like one you can kind of vividly remember, like offhand?
Being backstage at the Arnold was pretty insane. Seeing athletes like at the absolute top level.
Yeah.
Being in Pro's gym, Kai Green.
How do you get backstage? Was it just like you just bought the pass or what?
So my buddy, he has his uncle was like the head of the security for it.
Oh,
so
that's
he got
dope.
his VIP passes to
Nice.
everything backstage with the athletes, which was just an insane experience.
That's dope.
But honestly, too, even like I think some of the best moments in bodybuilding for me are the ones that when I was just beginning.
Yeah.
Like in the lifts in the basement with sound, like
Yeah.
music going. Like I said, high school lifts with like the football team. Just those like OG moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's coming up.
Looking back, it's just like that was so much fun.
Yeah, dude. And even now, like it's super fun.
Yeah.
And I still have like so much more to go. Like, so I still have like such a long way to go. But it's always like looking back cool of like, damn, like I miss those like grungy ass times. You know?
Yeah.
I think too, honestly, one of my favorite moments of bodybuilding was when I got my first spray tan. Like going through prep and then like going in there and smelling the spray tan, looking at everyone that's there that I know is probably as obsessed with it as I am, or at least have a similar mentality. And getting it like actually sprayed on, getting my badge number, and like, holy shit, this is happening. This is real. You know what I mean?
It's just like a surreal feeling.
It's a surreal feeling, and I'll never forget like even just like the smell of the spray tan in the air.
Yeah.
Of just like those
you're
little
getting me
sensory
excited,
things.
bro. I'm so pumped up for that, bro.
Dude, it's so
It'd be
sick.
So exciting, yeah.
I think the number one feeling is being on a bodybuilding stage, though.
Yeah.
Also, having a client on stage is a sick feeling too.
You were telling me about that, yeah.
Yeah, because dude, I almost argue having a client on stage is more fun than being on stage myself.
Yeah.
Because it's something like work you've put in, but also someone else's work that they've put in, and it's kind of like
This
like product that you've made,
of
two synergies coming together to get them to be the best where they've ever been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And seeing that come alive like on stage and seeing them do well, man, dude, it just fires me up. It's so fun.
Yeah. It's dope as fuck.
What do you think is something you are struggling with now as a bodybuilder?
I gotta think about that one. I mean, one that comes straight to mind is just like lack of knowledge, but
Yeah.
that's you can say that.
Yeah,
Anyone can
it's
say
gonna be
that.
always, yeah.
I'm trying to think of something that's like really like I'm personally struggling with right now. There's a lot of them that come to mind. I'm trying to think here.
You think on it. I think the number one thing I struggle with in bodybuilding is just knowing if I'm making the right decision with things I do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would 100% agree with that too.
Yeah. Because there's so many different ways you're like, how's this decision going to affect my brand, my athletes, myself, my family? Is this the right decision to go down this right path? Is working with this coach for 3 years a good decision versus this coach for 3 years? You know, like those kind of little decisions. Is this training philosophy better than this training philosophy?
Right.
You know, like those kind of things. Just knowing that you're making the right decisions is probably one of the hardest things I'd say.
Yeah. I think that one especially because it's just like, I find myself just overthinking some of the dumbest shit.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it started up. I remember like, I remember when I first started like test, I was getting all paranoid. I was like, wait, my nipples are getting a little puffy. I was like, fuck. I was like, coach, I'm texting him up, and I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, I'm sending him pictures. I'm like, dude, is this normal? Like, he's like, dude, you need to chill the fuck out, bro. Like, it's normal. I had the same shit happen. It's just kind of you get your body getting used to the test. But like that's another one where it's just like, damn, like it's easy to like get caught up in those small little details, and so that's like definitely one like specific example. I'm trying to think of another one. I mean, sometimes like just getting caught. Like I mean, dude, like I remember like also like with like this is I mean both of these are related to like PEDs, but it's just like just the whole experience, because it's like, you're like, when it comes to PEDs, like so many people just like think about it, it's just like, oh, like this is gonna make me get huge.
Yeah.
But it's like a next level life decision, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you gotta take that shit for pretty much
and
the rest
like,
of your life.
right, and that's the thing. Is it's like I was fine. I was fine with that because it's like I already knew like my levels were fucked. But it wasn't. I didn't think about like all these other intricate, like small intricacies where it's like, you know, making sure you pin the right place. You don't want to have a fucking giant cyst on your leg because you pinned your quad.
Too much scar tissue.
Yeah, and then I've heard like crazy stories of like when you're like, if you know, I was really scared to pin my glutes right away, right? Because I was just doing shoulders. I remember like hearing videos or like hearing people talk about or like seeing videos of them like pinning in the wrong places and them hitting like their sciatic nerve, and it's like, fuck, now I can't walk forever. Like, bro, some of that shit like really scares you. So like a lot of that's just like, I mean, it comes down from experience, but like I think the big one is just like for me is, you know, making sure like a big one like it's just like over the last year I've been working on is just getting better in communication with my coach.
Sure.
So like just making sure I tell Nick about everything, right? Like if I don't feel normal, like tell him, right? Like same with every other variable, because bodybuilding is about controlling variables.
Yeah, and improving them.
Exactly. And the more you can kind of start to see, like, obviously you're not going to flip the switch and be able to like track every single variable right off the bat, but it's like you build over time, especially with the PED route, because there's so much to learn, and then like you're just constantly adding new things in. So like for example, right, like, you know, this week I've been supposed to like write down how many cardio calories I've been burning, but I didn't see that right away. So like I started writing down like that kind of stuff, and I'm probably gonna get like an Apple Watch like this next week or two, right? But just like those small little things, being able to communicate that with Nick, that's been a big thing for me.
Yeah.
And just something that's like kind of struggling with right now is just like being able to be more communicative.
Yeah, well, I remember back when, like, as an athlete, I felt like I struggled more with communication with my coach. It was always just be like, I almost don't want to ask him a question because I don't want him to think like I'm stupid.
Dumb. Yeah, that's another one where it's like, oh fuck, I'm stupid. But it's like, bro, like you're paying your coach for a reason.
Right.
You're there to learn, right? Sure, you might know this certain concept a little bit, but he probably knows 10 times the amount you do on this specific concept. So like you could half-ass and just guess and fuck yourself up, or you could ask your coach. You know what I mean? If you're asking the same question week after week after week, that's when it gets repetitive and the coach is like, all right, come on, man. Like, let's learn.
Yeah, that and asking questions that you can just like easily Google. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's like, what's a dumbbell bench press? Fucking just Google it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's pretty straight up.
When it comes to small tweaks of form, you can ask some questions.
Definitely.
But if you're just asking what a, you know.
Yeah. What's a dumbbell?
You know what I mean? I hope you don't have to ask that question.
Yeah. But that or asking communication in terms of like also feeling like you're asking like almost too many questions. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to feel like I'm bugging him either.
Yeah.
Because like your coach has other athletes.
Right.
And you're like, well, I don't want to be like too much and be like annoying. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't want to say any names specifically right now, but you know, there are definitely people in our group chat like that can be like that annoying type.
Yeah.
I guarantee you're not that level, bro. And that's the thing is you just gotta realize it's like there's a level to annoying. Like it's when you're constantly sending, you know, more than probably 5 to 10 questions a day. Like that's when it's just getting annoying. I would argue even more than like 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think that's, you know, it's like you're, you know, unless you're paying your coach like $2,000 a month to answer every single question and be very individualized with you, but like, there's definitely like, yeah.
I think that's part of the learning journey too, is knowing what is a good question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because I think there is kind of stupid questions, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
if you want to get into it, what's the stupidest question that you've been asked?
Ooh.
Or can we not really get into that?
Probably just stuff like if they can. I had an athlete once ask me, basically like on my spreadsheet, I'll say like all items need to be cooked before they're weighed, unless like I specifically tell you otherwise. Mm-hmm. And I had like someone ask me if they should cook their blueberries. I'm like, bro, You do not need to cook your blueberries.
No. Yeah.
Like, maybe I didn't tell you that, but it's like, there's some common sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
That's
like,
fair.
it's not even like I'm pissed because I can appreciate someone wanting just to be sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, you know.
So to summarize,
Yeah.
be more communicative with your coach.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. I mean, over communicating is always going to be better than under communicating, for sure. Because
Yep.
your coach can't know where you are, what you don't know, if you aren't asking or
Yep.
providing that information.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask. Yeah. What was you kind of said that it was kind of like the same thing when it comes to like things that you're struggling with, it was just like the communication part too as well, or just over analysis or over analysis.
Yeah, just knowing like I'm making the right decisions in life.
Yeah, that's right.
In terms of like business and bodybuilding and like things of like, is this potentially a good partner for me to be with, like in a relationship? You know what I mean? Like, because the person that you spend your relationship with is going to be highly dictating towards your success as a bodybuilder and a man. So it's like, am I making the right decision with this person? You know, like those kind of decisions, like I struggle with sometimes. You know what I mean? Relationships in general, especially, I feel like are extremely hard, at least for me in bodybuilding, because I either feel like this person is as into bodybuilding as me, and it's like too much. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm obsessed with bodybuilding, and to have someone else that's like as obsessed with bodybuilding, it's like too much. You know what I mean? I need some contrast.
Yeah.
But I want someone that's not like that, just like doesn't go to the gym either. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's get into this. All right. Yeah. Like if you can keep describing like the the ideal person like that you would think for you, what do you think it would look like?
Someone that wants my dreams as bad as I do for me to accomplish. You know what I mean? I need someone that is extremely supportive of my goals and pushing me, like they know what I'm capable of and they won't let me not be the best version of myself and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like I want the best for them. You know what I mean? I want someone that is into fitness, like they go to the gym regularly, they're in shape, but I don't want someone that's like I mean, I would be with a competitive bodybuilder, but not someone that's like
you don't want a women's bodybuilder.
Yeah, like if I can't do girls that are like on PEDs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm like talking to a dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's fair enough.
Other than that, the basic core values that are like non-negotiables to me in a partner is honesty, loyalty, and what's the other one? I skip it. Honesty, loyalty, and just being able to trust them, trustworthy.
Yep.
I think those are really like the core non-negotiables, and everything else is kind of just like cherries on top. You know what I mean? What about you?
Number one is has some sort of belief in a higher power or hope, like probably more what's the word? Leaning more towards like a relationship with God. That's a big one for me.
Agreed.
Kind of some of the stuff you said, like I mean, obviously loyalty. Someone that's can support your dreams wholeheartedly, because like that's a big one. If you guys can't support each other's dreams, it's hard, because it's like, I mean, you've dealt with people that in your life that like kind of subtly put you down and aren't like that full level support. It's just like, I can't hang around that kind of stuff. Yeah. Whether you're like one of my buddies or like a romantic partner, you know what I mean? So that's a big one for me. And then, I definitely like to have a little bit of contrast. I don't, like I said before, like I don't
feel like I'm dating myself.
Right. Yeah. That, and then also like when it comes to bodybuilding, like I don't really want. I think it'd be I think it'd be cool, but kind of hard at the same time to be in a relationship where you guys are both competing all the time. Yeah. So like, definitely having a separate dream, maybe. Yeah. I know I'm sounding so picky, bro, but it's just like you gotta be at that point, because it's like the high standards, like, and that's why I don't like right now. I'm not looking to date someone right now. Yeah. Because it's just like I have to build myself up to that level where it's like I'm at my highest version of myself, so I can attract the highest version of herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Not chasing, but attracting.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
What else you want to kind of touch on in here?
Let's go back to our journeys a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So let's go through the show experience. So like, your most recent prep? What was that kind of like? Explain the whole process to me, because I'd love to hear about this.
Yeah, so I've done technically like 2.5 preps. I did one when I was 16, did a show. I did another one, I believe my senior year, but got canceled because of COVID, 4 weeks out, which was a kick in the balls for sure.
Yeah, that's it.
And then my most recent one I did back in about a little over a year, about a year and a half ago, back in October of 2024.
Okay.
And it was really good. I had done a 6-year pretty much off season.
Damn.
So I was, motherfuckers
awesome.
complain about like having to be with a coach for a year and prep. Like, motherfucker, I did 6 years, dude.
Dude, that's crazy, yeah.
But, so like when my coach told me it was time to prep, I literally had tears. I was like, fucking finally. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, yeah.
But prepping for, I did Wisconsin State and then Badger State. That was like 2 weeks after that. Prepping for that was fucking awesome. It was such a blast, dude. Waking up every single day. I was still working my other full-time job at Verizon at the time. I think I was still at Verizon, yeah. And there were many days where I'd have to get up at like 4 a.m. to go get my cardio or my training session done.
Damn, bro.
And then go work and then come back and then cardio or train. And I was getting up. My first meal was just chicken and rice. Fucking I'd wake up, meditate, eat my chicken and rice. The meditation was super essential for me in that prep. Just helped me kind of ground myself, get my mind right. And then I'd eat my meal, go train. And I think one of my favorite things was on my drive to the gym, where I'd play some loud music and just thinking about the vision, what the look is going to be like on stage.
Yeah.
Even to this day, but it kind of started in that prep where I just screamed to myself in the car, just I'm a fucking champion. I'm going to be number one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
just
awesome. Yeah.
every single time. And just reinforcing that, I'm going to fucking do this shit no matter how much it sucks. And even embracing the suck too. It sucks, but it's a type of suck that's a privilege to have. You know what I mean? Because
Well, yeah, you're the one putting yourself through this.
I'm doing this willingly.
Yeah, exactly.
And not everyone gets to do this. So I honestly sometimes don't even really like when people say I'm suffering. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just you're a bodybuilder. Yeah, you could easily pull out prep right now if you don't want to be suffering.
Right. Suffering willingly, I think, is beautiful.
Yeah.
But suffering, it's are you really suffering? Not really. You could be a slave. You could be in the middle of war. You could be a starving kid in Africa.
Yeah.
That's suffering. Doing a bodybuilding prep is not suffering. But it is very hard.
Yeah.
Very, very hard. Especially as you get closer to those 4 weeks out mark where fatigue is very high. Your body just feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds all the time and you have zero fucking energy. Your body hurts all the time. Fucking sitting just hurts.
Really?
Yeah, it's brutal.
Do you think it's just because of the low body fat or
Yeah, low body fat, low food, high expenditure, all those things. And it's just kind of that
So
peak.
it feels like leg day, post leg day times 1,000.
Yeah, literally all the time. You literally just sit there and you kind of feel like a hollow shell all the time, honestly. But it's again, you kind of embrace that feeling because you know that feeling is essential for you to get the look you want on stage. You know what I mean? So when you are starving, I tell myself I kind of tried to reinforce my brain in a positive way of the starving. Again, are you really starving? But it's you're reinforcing that feeling of this feeling is what's equating to me getting leaner. You know what I mean? So it's I embrace it. You know what I mean?
That's pretty dope. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always just, man, I worked my balls off in that prep. I gave 100% everything. I executed to a fucking T. I did not miss a single fucking variable that entire prep. not a single fucking one.
That's awesome.
Not a single supplement, not a single pill, anything like that. Everything was timed perfectly.
Right. Yeah, the system set up.
Yeah. And it honestly kind of sucked because even though I executed to an absolute T, we were using some, fuck, I forget the name of it. It was some kind of stimulant that we started using.
Yohimbe?
Not Yohimbe, but it's very similar.
Okay.
And we started taking it probably maybe a month out, something like that. And my body's relatively pretty sensitive to stimulants. So between that and like caffeine and stuff like that, I could really start to feel
it. Clen, was it?
No. It's marketed as Broncaid. It's basically like it pretty much just boosts your adrenaline is really what it is.
Damn, okay.
Yeah. And it lasts quite a while.
Yeah.
And it helps a lot, especially towards the end of those last few weeks. But between all the stimulants and stuff like that, it kind of built up. And like literally a week out from the show, I just had like an aldosterone response. So my body just started holding a lot of water.
Oh, shit.
It's like an adrenal kind of like response. Yep. And I started holding a lot more water, and I kind of lost the look I was getting. Like I was starting to get like really pretty fucking shredded.
Yeah.
I don't think I would say I got to the level where I was like peeled, but
like you still had some body.
I was pretty lean. But keep in mind too, I did most of that prep naturally, and then I did the last like 6 weeks or so on TRT. So it's like, I think I got pretty fucking lean for just doing that.
Yeah.
But I could have been a lot better on stage. Especially like once I kind of saw I was having that response by the time I got to the hotel, then I kind of just started like stressing out. Yeah. Because like my coach was seeing it too, and I was like, "Fuck, dude!" Like,
how did you deal with that response, and like how did that affect the outcome of the show? Like, what was your mindset go like after that, finding out about that, like seeing that happen? Like, what was your mindset like going, like how it changed and whatnot?
Honestly, it was kind of defeating because like you just worked your fucking ass off, just to see the look kind of diminish in the last few days right before the fucking show. And that's kind of just a part of bodybuilding is you do these to like refine this look and then you just learn for next time. But it's a really brutal feeling to give that much effort and like, you know, be hungry, starving for that long, very low energy, and then just kind of have it slip out. But I didn't look like bad, I don't think. I didn't place overall at all, which kind of sucked. Yeah. But I did win my class, and I think I got like second in my. I think I did like a novice class and then open. I think I got like second in open, first in my class in novice. Okay. It was still solid. It was still a lot better than I did in my last show. Yeah. I don't think I looked bad, but it definitely wasn't like what I was capable of. Right. You know what I mean? So now you're like now full grind season. Yeah. And I also definitely feel like my cardio could have been pushed a lot more. For most of it, I was only doing like 2 cardio sessions a day, not a day, a week. Oh, really? Which was not like that bad. But I mean, to those cardio sessions, like I gave my fucking max effort ever. Like after every single session, I would just be like laying on the ground, like our leg day. Yeah. Like I gave max effort to my training sessions and my cardio, which as you should. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely feel like there could have been more cardio there. But after that show, yeah, it kind of sucked. But we had another 2 weeks to come into Badger State. I definitely cleaned up things a little bit more there. I think one of my favorite things in the prep, though, was developing my posing routine. Yeah. That was a ton of fun. I posed my ass off. I kind of neglected mandatories, which came back to bite me to hold on stage, the ones that actually matter. Yeah. But I love the art of bodybuilding, and so I was just like really into the posing routine, freestyling, and dude, I was probably, I was posing like an hour a day for a little bit. Damn, bro. Yeah, it was a lot of posing. Yeah. But it helped a lot. Yeah. I got pretty. Did you have a posing coach? I did maybe 3 posing sessions like online. Okay. During that, maybe a few more. Okay. But most of it was just on my own. Yeah. I hired someone to kind of just help me clean up some things in the routine towards the end of it. That was really about it. I think I like to take a lot of pride in making my own routines. Yeah. Because I think an artist should be able to make their own painting. You know what I mean? But it's still okay to learn, obviously. Yeah. I think, however, like that show though, even though the results weren't really what I wanted necessarily, I grew so much as an athlete in that prep. I matured a lot as an athlete. I had never locked in like that before. I still don't honestly think I've locked in quite like that since then. Because prep is just not a level. Like you do your best to try to be in that mentality all the time, but it's just different when you're in prep. Yeah. And dude, I just felt like I could literally conquer anything with my will and mindset and work ethic alone, which is such that's honestly the addicting part of preps to me. It's just like I just feel like I become unkillable in
Yeah,
preps.
yeah.
Because you just become so hard-minded.
That's so dope.
It's sick.
This whole conversation just is like motivating me to like
Dude.
just, I don't know. It's just cool to hear about because it's just like no one like I don't get to talk about this stuff very much. I mean, since before then, like I mean, straight up like before meeting you, bro, like there was no one else I could talk to about this stuff.
Yeah.
We've had like the experience, number one, but two, like enjoyed it as much as I did. You know what I mean? Which is just dope. I guess what are your goals now coming forward? Now working with Nick Justice.
Get to 300 pounds.
Pretty dope, yeah.
Get massive. And honestly, I just want to build a pro physique and mindset.
Yeah.
That's the main thing we're working on.
Yeah.
Just becoming my best self. I want to build my business as big as I can and help as many people as I can through that.
Yeah.
Through Nick, though, I just want to get more into the bodybuilding community, too. Mm-hmm. He's got like a lot of those connections and stuff and relationships like you've kind of talked about. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I just want to see as much growth as possible. I've been kind of I'm kind of taking this time to play around with what works for me as a bodybuilding athlete. Because I actually was talking to him about this as well. Is, a lot of the time I've spent in bodybuilding has been like extremely disciplined, like always logging my workouts, always like boom, 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 which I think is very valuable and you need to keep that to some degree. But I've actually kind of like pulled back on some things, like tracking my training footage, or not training footage, my
actual lifts,
like in a logbook, because I don't know. Honestly, I've gone the last couple months without like logging anything and just kind of going in the gym with the mindset of like, I'm going to follow the blueprint of the training program he gives me, like kind of follow the sets and reps that he gives me. But I'm more or less just showing up there with the intention to give balls out max effort. Yeah. And I've always kind of felt like I'm an athlete that thrives on passion, not necessarily like analytical numbers. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they've just never really like corresponded.
I think what's cool about it is it's like you got this mindset where it's like the passion combined both with you got like when it comes to like the prep stuff from what you've said, like you've got that like analytical side when it comes to like locking every single aspect in the prep and like the whole bodybuilding thing with like it's like a science experiment on your body, right? You're controlling all the variables. I think the passion is where like the training comes in, the posing comes in. Like that's so dope, bro. That you've developed that.
So like I've always felt like I become my best athlete when I lean into the passion side, because I come from a family of artists. My mom's an artist. Her great grandmother was an artist. Very famous artist actually in the Great Depression era. We have like a painting of hers valued at like over 10K. Like she was just like,
that's so dope. Yeah,
world like renowned.
Yeah.
And my mom always taught me to be an artist. I'd make spray paintings. That's something I kind of want to get more into. But
yeah, I want to see those. Some of those. You have to show me.
That one's right there.
That one?
Yeah.
That's sick as fuck, dude.
And I just feel like I'm good at creating. You know what I mean? I like to go in there with like a vision, and I don't really create that vision based off of like numbers. I go in there with like a style, energy, passion. Like that's where I feel like I'm my best athlete.
That's pretty dope.
But that's not the same for everybody.
Right.
Like some people really thrive on the analytical side, and that's cool. I think you should lean into whatever benefits you the most.
Right.
But I think it's been really cool in my bodybuilding journey recently to just kind of look at, okay, let's think outside the box of not like doing what necessarily just because everyone else does it, and just doing what works best for me.
Yeah.
Like you see a lot with bodybuilders too, like doing cardio, like they can only do cardio on the Stairmaster because every other bodybuilder does that. Yep. You know what I mean? And you're not hardcore if you don't go to the Stairmaster.
Right.
But it's the stupidest shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't have high intensity interval training anymore, but when I did, I would do elliptical because I found it more enjoyable. The risk for injury is lower on it. It's easier on my joints. And I just had a lot more fun with it. You know what I mean? Whereas the Stairmaster, I just felt like I hated my life. But they both burn like once you burn the calories, you burn the calories.
Yep.
So it's like you just got to do what you feel like you get the most enjoyment from to still get the same results.
That's pretty dope, dude. Well, yeah, dude, it sounds like you've got the basis and the blueprint to take yourself far in this. I'm excited. I'm just excited for us to be able to like just continue to fucking just grow and both physically and mentally, bro. And now we both are with Nick, and it's just gonna be dope. It's off season. I'm just looking forward to, bro.
Yeah, dude. And that was something. like I was kind of saying, I brought up to Nick with the logbook thing and like kind of like making hard decisions.
Yeah, what do you say?
Well, I'll just like tie it back to like decisions that are hard to make.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be like, ditch the logbook, but be like, well, should I actually be logging it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
do I feel like a bad
Interesting.
athlete for not doing it?
Yeah.
And I brought it up to him and he was like, yeah, no, that's totally cool. If you don't want to like track it in there, he said like he's actually done the same thing. But what he does is track his like staple movements.
Yeah. Actually, that's
So,
one thing I do. Yeah.
That's something I actually do like as well. I kind of just keep more of like a mental note, but it's like, because I have a pretty decent memory in training. Like I can remember if I get on a hack squat, if I had 4 plates and how many reps I got pretty well.
Yep.
But overall, I'm going in there like, is this stimulus better than the last stimulus? You know what I mean?
The general idea.
Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty dope. Well, guys, I mean, I think this is, it's pretty much wrapped up with like both of our stories so far. Obviously, lots more to come. Final thoughts?
Oh, man. This is such a fun privilege of a journey to be on. Bodybuilding is one of the most beautiful things in terms of personal development, right up there with entrepreneurship, I would say. And to be able to express it and live it on a daily basis is, a dream come true.
Yeah.
Seriously. And that's why we're on this podcast, wanting to share our stories, knowledge, and just create an environment where you feel like you are supported. And yeah, man, I think this is going to be a really dope thing to continue in the future.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Be savage with fucking excellence. Execute at the highest degree possible and always give vicious effort.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.